Hello you lovely lot, we are once again at the beautiful Woodlands View on Ghostpool, where I'm going to be going through a basics, really early season, scaled down method feeder fishing. This time of year when the fish, they're on the feed, but you can certainly introduce too much bait for them. So that's why we're going to be going through little tiny babby feeders, lighter rods, smaller hooks and lighter hook lengths. But it's all about where you're casting. Now, what is noticeable, where I'm casting to, which we'll go through later, there's quite a cold wind blowing over there, but it's not bothering the fish. We've put a little bit of bait in right close to the bank in here, and you know, the bottom's getting churned up. So I'll explain more when I'm actually going into casting, why I'm casting where I am, where I'm not going for like the deep water on that horrible silt, because basically they can, you know, the silt will hide your feeder. So what you want to make sure you're doing is coming up the slope on that nice hard ground where the fish can, you know, see your feeder. In this case I'm using a method because I'm only casting in sort of 2 or 3 foot, and I want to get them fish competing. I want that bait to be visible straight away. It's not like your banjo feeder or hybrid feeder, that kind of feeder where, you know, you'd fish them in deeper water, the fish would come in and it's always in that little pile. I want my bait to be visible straight away and start breaking up. So without further ado, let's go through the setup. Oh, we've got a bit of weed on. So first things first, get that bit of weed on. Let's start off with reel size. Now, 3,000 to 4,000 size reel with 6 or 8 pound main line. I've got the Preston sinking feeder mono on here, but you know, 6 or 8 pound will be absolutely bang on. I'm chucking around sort of 30, 35 yards, and I'm just using a really light 10 foot Superior SL rod. Yeah, very light, because we are going to encounter the odd carp probably, folks, but it's mainly F1s, possibly the odd skimmer. With this step down tactics, you'll pretty much catch everything swimming. So you need to make sure that your rod's light and it's cushy and everything. You'll see when we get these fish, you know, battling away under our feet, you'll really see the action of these rods. They're absolutely superb. So don't go for a harsh rod or anything like that, a beefed up feeder rod, just like a normal feeder rod, or if you can, a light feeder rod. Now coming on to the actual setup itself. So I've got 2 feeders out here. Just let me hook that up in my trousers first and show you the different feeders. So that is my standard size feeder, this one on the right, that I'd use for all my sort of like, you know, summer fishing if you like, casting every sort of 2 to 5 minutes, something like that. That little babby one there, that's what we're going to be using today. So you can see there's nowhere near as much feed content in that one as there is that. Now these come in various different weights, from 15 gram all the way up to sort of 45 gram. What you've got to consider is the wind. Now the wind's perfect today. If I had a side wind, I'd have to use a little bit heavier weight just to cut through that wind. As it is, to get the distance with this nice soft rod today, I'm using a 30 gram one. So 30 gram Preston method feeder. Yeah, absolutely bang on. So that's what we're using. Now, setting it up could not be simpler, and that's the beauty of these actual feeders. You know, you could change if you wanted to. You can put obviously the banjo feeders on, whatever you wanted to. You can change sizes. If it got really good or we started catching a few carp, by all means I'll put a bigger feeder on, or you know, if the wind drops or what have you, I could change to a lighter feeder. If you're on a horrible slope, change to a heavier feeder so it's gripping that slope. But as we're chucking on a nice natural slope, so 30 grams absolutely perfect. So what you'll get in the pack is this bit here. Yeah, so you get your tail rubber, you'll get your actual stem that your feeder goes in, and then all you need is it's hiding under here, folks, one of them, the inline quick change beads. That's all you need. Yeah, to attach it couldn't be simpler. Basically all I've done, just get that hook length off there. In fact, I'll leave it on, but I'll move that up for you. So you can see this bit here goes on your line first, that slides up your line, and then you've got this little grommet thing that you put your hook length in. It's got a tiny, if Richard zooms in on that, it's got a tiny hole there where you're putting your line through. You on it, Richard? And then all I do, you can see I've got an inch loop there. I've put my line through and I've just gone through sort of 3 or 4 times, just like you would, you know, your normal hook length loop. You go through twice. Just needs to be a little bit stronger this, so 3 or 4 times. Pull that down tight, and then what you can do is put that back over there. This fits nice and snug into there. Then you get your little feeder. Where's my feeder gone? There's a bigger hole and a smaller hole, and it's the bigger hole that goes down that way. You'll see that because it just sort of like tapers off at the bottom. It just goes that little bit wider. So you put the thicker bit down towards the bottom there, and then you put the tail rubber back on. Make sure that's nice and snug in there, and that's it. That is the setup. Now let me talk you through these hooks. So basically, in the little retainer there, I've pulled the grommet back over, so obviously that can't come out. I'm going to show you the hooks that I'm using. Leave that down there. And I'm using one of these bad boys. This is straight out of the packet, but I've shortened these down to 4 inches. It's a 16s GPMB to 0.14 hook length. Now I'll quite happily use a 0.12 if it was like proper cold, but 0.14 just does the job perfect, you know. Quite confident in getting the biggest of big carps out on that, because everything's balanced. My gear's all balanced, my rod's lovely and soft, so when you get them lunges, it's going to cushion absolutely everything. So hooks like that are perfect. Now onto that, what I love to use, we'll come to bait next. Let me just put that back in there, and I'll talk you through the bait we've got. Obviously at Woodlands View, it's fishery on pellets. The bestest coloured pellets in the world, folks. Look at them. Yeah, they used to be blue pellets. They're like a greeny blue now, but they're absolutely bang on. Yeah, the Skrettings pellets these days are absolutely superb. And all I've done with them, as we've done all with pellets from a method feeder, soaked them for a minute. That's all. Take them out, drain all the water off, put them in a big bowl, and them are absolutely perfect. They just bind together lovely. You can squeeze them as hard as you want on the method, and they'll break down within sort of like a few seconds of that method hitting the bottom, and that is what I want. So that's my bait that's going around the method. Me hook bait are these brilliant micro bandum wafters. Yeah, Sonny Baits micro bandum wafters, and I've got my 3 favourite colours in there. Fishing's all about confidence, personal preference. For me, them 3 colours do absolutely everything that I want. There's not a fish swimming that won't eat them colours. My personal favourite's pink, and then it's yellow, and then it's orange pellets. Them are just absolutely bang on. 4mm, and they go perfect on a band, which I'll show you. Where's the rest of my rig? Here it is. So what we're doing, obviously, if you're not confident in putting them on by hand, I'll let that slide down there. If you're not confident in putting them on by hand, then obviously that's what your bander bait's for. But basically, I'm going to get your yellow one out. Yeah, hold it just like you would a pellet, middle finger and thumb, put the band round to the side, index fingernail right the way through, and then just loop that band over, and just make sure that band, you're getting on that Richard, that band is smooth all the way around that. I was going to call it a pellet then. It's not a pellet, it's a bandum. Yeah, and that's it, that's finished. Now loading the feeder is really simple. Again, you know, feel your way into this session, folks. Don't like me put a bigger one on, or don't double coat it and things like that. What I like to do is single coat it first, and if it's really good, that's when I'll start double skinning it. But that's where these come into play as well. I love these molds, absolutely brilliant. Every time you go out with a method, it's always the same. It's far better, in my opinion, doing it in a mold, so everything's nice and aerodynamic, rather than doing it with your hands. Yeah, it's easier with your hands on obviously a hybrid style feeder or banjo feeder, but for a method, I'll just find it a lot easier using a mold. Now all we're going to do, I don't know if you can see that, Rich. So I'm just going to put a few pellets in first, sort of like 1/2 to 3/4, and then what I'll do is get me hook bait, pull it down towards the bottom, just give it a light press in, so you can see that's what we've got so far. Yeah, and then I'll just get another layer of pellets and fill that, sort of overfill it if you like, overfill it, just so it's a little bit proud of the mould, like so, and then method goes over the top, and really you can't really squeeze hard enough. Don't matter how hard you squeeze them micros, eventually they're all going to break out into that same form. It's, oh folks, it's such a fabulous way of fishing. But a little bit more onto where we're fishing, where we are, because obviously it's still flipping freezing at night times, folks. But what we're finding is, we've got fish swirling like under our feet in sort of 2 or 3 foot of water, so I'm mimicking that over there. Yeah, it's a cold wind, but that doesn't affect the fish now. The fish have started feeding, so rather than chucking in that deep water where it's all silt, that's going to sink into the silt, cast up the slopes where it's hard bottom, and then the fish can just see your bait a lot quicker. So I think I'm just going to give that a little bit more of a squeeze. You can squeeze that as hard as you want. Give that a bit more of a squeeze, and we'll get this casted out. Oh, of that. Right, you'll see, first thing I've done, rod tip straight under the water, sink that line. If it was flat calm, I'll put rod straight on the rest. Wouldn't need to sink the line, but with a bit of wind on, and obviously it only being a small feeder, Tommy Pickering's saying, isn't it, folks? Don't move the feeder. So that is in. Right, so cast wise now, so heights of summer, blooming heck, you know, every 90 seconds to 3 minutes, something like that. That's what time it is. Get on it, Richard. We are on 53. Yeah, I'm going to leave that up to sort of 8 or 10 minutes. If I feel as though I'm getting a few tips and taps and what have you, there's a few fish there, I might bring that back a little bit more often, every sort of 5 minutes, something like that. But how it is, I'm just going to leave it. Already I've had a liner there. Now, you will get, obviously, this rod's so soft, you will get a little bit of a bend because we've got some undertow on the lake. So you will get a little bit of a bend in the rod. Nothing you can do about that. You know, it does not bother me whatsoever. The main thing I'm looking for, if that suddenly comes back, as a fish has pushed it down the slope, then obviously it's off your feed area, so I'll come back and recast. But that is holding perfect for me. Yeah. Until how soft that tip is. And then it's just a case of waiting. So you see when we crossed it in, 53. Well, the end of 53, nearly 54. Just wait now. Wait for the fish, innit? Have you seen what I'm wearing, folks? That's right, our brand new Winning Ways sweatshirts that are in stock right now. They come in sizes from small all the way up to 5XL, and they can be purchased at www.winningways.shop. Yeah! Yeah! There we go then. So, second cast, first one seemed like a proper bite, but I think it got done on the actual strike. Was it like, so we casted in 53, 54. First one, or first bite I had was on like 58, 59. It was like and I think I've just got done by a little F1. And then this has gone on, got on that Richard, it's gone on 104. Yeah? So we've not waited long at all. Did you get on that, Rich? I've got to wind in. You get on it? I'll show you anyway when we get this fish in. But I mean, it looks like a blooming carp, but I don't think it will be. I think it'll be it might be a carp. Might be F1. That's the beauty. Look at the rod. There's not as much pressure there at all, but it's just the beauty of these real soft rods. They just cushion absolutely everything, and that's what you want. Also, I've got it on back wind, and I've got the drag set as well. You know, I'm proper old school. I do like back wind, but if you're not used to it, folks, don't use it. Just use your clutch. So a little bit harder when the fish is out there, but then when the fish comes under your feet, just tension that clutch up a little bit more. It might be a carp, this. You don't know until you get them under your blooming feet. You fight so hard. Oh, everything seems to fight hard on a softer rod. It'd be nice if it were a carp, but it might be a big F1. Well, that's the beauty of this style of fishing. You're not going to miss out on absolutely anything, and you just build and you swim up. If I have 3 casts without a bite in any one colour, then I'll change the colour of the bait, because I'm a massive believer in colours making a difference. And then just work through them that way. And then obviously later on into the session, build your swim up a bit more, you know, give it regular casts. As I say, I'm looking for 5 to 10 minutes and then seeing when we're getting the bites, because you're not putting much bait in, and the fish do absolutely love it. Oh, it's a big common. Why? On the neck. It's a big fish. It just shows you what you can get in on light gear, light rods, light hook lengths, smallish hooks. So running a 16 GPMB. Just shows you what you can get in and where them big fish want to be. We're only chucking like what, 5 foot off. Yeah, boy, we're only chucking like 5 foot off the far bank, something like that. And it's blooming cold. It's like, what is it, 12th of March, I think. Yeah, 12th of March today. So it's still blooming cold, but really, really hot through the day. Let me sort himself out with his tails. Just leap round, and we'll have a look at this beauty. Pay a bit of line off. Beautiful common, that, folks. Perfectly hooked in the bottom lip where they want to be. I'll give myself a 6 out of 10 for him. Come here. Come on, the carps. There we go. He's unhooked, and I'm going to show you him, folks, because he is an absolute stunner. Just give him a bit of a rinse first. Da-doing. And look at that for a beautiful Woodlands View early spring carp. Yeah, he's probably it's probably £5, 5 and a bit pound. I won't bring him all the way out, but look at him, stunning. 5 and a bit pound. Just shows you what you can get out. I'm going to let him go, folks. Just shows you what you can get out on real light gear. Yeah, we're only on like 0.14 up length, 16's hook, tiny little babby feeders, and that was our second chuck. And it's taken, well, after playing it, that's what time we're on now, 107, and we chucked it in first at between sort of 12:53 and 54. But honestly, get yourself, if you're in this like vicinity, Woodlands View is a place to come to try out this. But there'll be loads of lakes around where you are, folks, to try this. Get yourself out, give it a go, and you will not be disappointed. As always, if you like what you've seen, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and that'll tell you when we're putting these fantastic videos out for you to enjoy. Yeah!